This video will attempt to teach you how to determine the respective third note from within the major scale to each individual note of the major scale. It will also show how to play it in succession to its partner note while scaling up and down in pitch using the major scale. It will also briefly show how thirds are used for one of the lead parts during the interlude to For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. This video uses standard E-tuning and 440 wavelength calibration. The content of this video could also be applied to the bass guitar. It's going to be very difficult and challenging to explain to you what I mean when I talk about playing the major scale in thirds. So I'll do the best that I can and hope you can catch on. And before I really try to get talking and breaking it down in details, I'll just play the basic major scale in thirds to show you what I mean. But before I do that, we're going to have to add a couple extra notes. We're going to add the second note of the scale, which is a D, an octave higher in pitch. This is sometimes referred to as the ninth note. On the G string at the 7th fret is where it will be located. When scaling back down in pitch, we're going to have to add the B note on the A string at the 2nd fret. This is essentially just the 7th note of the scale, an octave lower. So here we go. I know it's confusing, but bear with me and I'll try to teach it to you. If you're a fan of Metallica and you like the song For Whom the Bell Tolls, this is actually what Kirk does in the interlude part on the leads. If you learn how to do this, it'll help you to figure that out. Each note in the major scale has a note that is a third higher in pitch from within the major scale. To figure out each note's respective third, we'll start out on the root note of C. We'll play the first three notes of the scale, which will be C, D, and E. So the note from within the scale that is a third higher in pitch than C is the E. We'll go to the second note of the scale, which is a D, and play the next three notes of the scale, D, E, F. So the note from within the scale that is a third higher than D is the F. We'll go to the third note of the scale, which is an E, and play the next three notes of the scale, E, F, G. So the note that is a third higher in pitch than the E is the G. We'll go to the fourth note of the scale, which is an F, play the next three notes of the scale, F, G, A. So the note that is a third higher in pitch than the F is the A. We'll go to the fifth note of the scale, which is a G note, and play the next three notes of the scale, G, A, B. So the note that is a third higher than G is B. We'll go to the sixth note of the scale and play the next three notes of the scale, A, B, C. So the note that is a third higher in pitch than A is C. We'll shift up a step to the 4th fret to the 7th note of the scale, which is a B, and play the next three notes of the scale, B, C, D. So the note that is a third higher in pitch than the B is the D. Then back to the root note an octave higher. So what we did without as much interruption to achieve that is this. Now, without all that stuff in the middle, I'll do each note of the scale and then its respective third. I'll try to do it somewhat slow so it makes a little more sense. Now that we have established the respective third note to each note in the major scale, there's no need to do it all over again. If we decide to scale down in pitch from the higher pitched C to its lower pitched octave, we're just going to play the thirds in reverse. To show you what I mean, I'll do the first three notes descending. We'll have C, B, and A. So A is the third of C. On the way up, we established that C was the third of A. So the same is true descending as ascending. You're just doing it backwards. So I'll just play the process we used to determine that. Okay, so descending in pitch from the high C note, here it is without all the stuff in between. Confused yet? I hope not. We're going to use the same alternate picking technique that was used in the last two videos. We're also going to use the same eighth note timing to play it. So if we play the scale in thirds, we'll pick down, up, 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 down, down, up, 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 down. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? And now it's time for a practical application. You're probably wondering how this is going to help you figure out the solo or the interlude, whatever you want to call it, to For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica. It's easy. The part is based off of the key of G major in 1 octave. I'll place a middle finger on the A string at the 10th fret and do the basic major scale pattern as we know it. That isn't actually played in a song like that. What I'm doing is establishing the notes that it's going to work off of. What it's going to do is, Kirk's actually going to scale down from this higher pitched G on the G string at the 12th fret using thirds until he gets to the lower pitched G note. The difference is we've been doing it in eighth notes. Metallica uses triplets. What a triplet is, for those that don't know, is there's 3 evenly timed beats for every downbeat in music. So it's counted 1 anna, 2 anna, 3 anna, 4 anna, 1 anna, 2 anna, 3 anna, 4 anna. It's kind of tricky to play because it's the one time in music that you can't always pick down on a downbeat, so sometimes they feel clumsy. Of course, Kirk also adds a slight palm mute to it, which I'm not doing at this time. Sound familiar? Now if I expand on that a little, there's a lot more going on there than just that. There's a harmony guitar part, there's rhythm parts. I'd like to expand on that in more detail, but I'll probably do that in a few more videos. So hopefully that's been helpful.